Alrighty, team. Today I wanted to dive in around the importance of having an internal project manager in any sort of project that you're doing in your business. And the biggest thing I always talk about before diving into this conversation with clients, with taking on projects, especially in the space that we're playing in around artificial intelligence, but essentially this is any innovation project, is around change management. The biggest thing I find that when people get stuck in projects, or projects don't come through properly right to the end, is because change management and mindset change management. And so that's kind of like the outcome, right? But I want to dive into all the actual points that are required that most people miss. And so most people go, let's go get an external company involved, whether it's an innovation consultant company like ourselves, or it's a social media management company, or it's an external HR provider, whatever that might be. It's like, oh, we'll just go get an external company involved and they'll just do it all for us and we won't have to lift a finger. Yes, to an extent. But in my 10 plus years doing projects, I think it's super crucial to understand that if you do have an internal person that can lead that particular project, the success is going to be tremendous compared to what you would see otherwise. And so I'm just going to quickly dive into these points to give you some insights into what we find or have found over the years. So having a central coordination, this person that you have internally, and they don't need to be an actual project manager, right? It could just be an internal point person. It doesn't have to have someone that has skills in project management or has skills in technology or has skills in whatever project you're doing. They just need to be a central point of contact, and they need to be, you need to give them the leverage they need to be able to make decisions, because they're there to ensure that everyone is on the same page. They're there to make quick decisions and precise decisions for the business to ensure that it keeps moving forward and there's no delays throughout the project. And so they've got to be an essential point person, and they're kind of like the middleman, the glue that holds together both the external party and the internal team members. The great thing about having this internal point person is everyone is aligned then, so everyone's on the same page. They then will facilitate effective communication. Now, this facilitates both clear and timely communication, especially among the key stakeholders. This prevents any misunderstandings, it prevents any delays. They're essentially the point person for this effective communication, both internally and external. Once they have done that effectively, they then know, okay, who can we resource, who can we task to, who can we delegate to? And so that's delegating internally, delegating externally. But they can essentially pull and push levers as required to ensure the project stays on track, stays on target, stays on schedule, but also stays on budget. And that's usually the thing that always goes awry, right? Is that whole budget conversation. So apart from from resource management, you talk about risk management, which are, because they're in and out, they're in the organization, but they're in the actual project as well. They can pick up risk really, really quickly. So they can identify the risk early. They can develop the strategy to mitigate the risk, and they're essentially there just to keep the project on track at all points in time. Once they're doing that, they can do all the quality control around it. They can do all the task delegation out to all the team members. Essentially, they're there as the problem solver to ensure that they're quickly solving problems instantly. The number one thing I've seen go I won't say go wrong, but delays happen in projects because there's no point person to make decisions quickly. So we always say you want to do like this, the 48-hour rule. You need to be able to make a decision within 48 hours on a particular subject and move on to the next thing. Otherwise, it just stalls for weeks, if not sometimes months. Like we've done projects that were meant to be 3-month projects and they ended up being 12-month projects because there was just no person making decisions internally. So you just need to, have that person who has the authority to make quick decisions. Then we talk about change management. Now, this is I don't know. I always talk about this because it's the number one thing I believe that is not taken seriously enough. And I don't talk about change management as like this change management career and change management consultant. It's more about mindset change, in my opinion. Anytime you do a project and you're taking on, whether it's a new system or a new tool, or you're using, you're implementing artificial intelligence in your organization, people love the idea of innovation. They love the idea of change, until it affects them personally. And when it affects them personally, that's when they go, oh, actually, I have to change, or they push back. It's a bit of a fear. It's a bit of an unknown. And that's where most, I would say 9 times out of 10 projects fail, or they go off track, or they're not completed to the success as what they should have been because of that change management piece. Now, how you solve it, no idea. That's why there's experts out there. But I highly recommend bringing a change management consultant on board in every project. Not that it ever happens, but I highly recommend you do it. So saying all that, then they can put this internal project manager can put a performance tracking in place. They can monitor everything that's happening. They can do regular check-ins, regular updates. It's essentially just ensuring transparency and accountability across the plan, across the project plan. Then they can do the planning, the scheduling. They can do all the budget management around it. They might need to bring the CFO in, but essentially they can control the budget. They can then coordinate all the team members, get everyone on board. They can do all the documentation after the fact. So then once you have implemented the new project, the documentation lines up with it. And so there's really good, there's so many things that this internal person you should have on board should do that just is overlooked completely. And I think if you don't have that, everything I've just said doesn't get happened. Like they just expect the external company to do it. They go, well, that's not what we're hired to implement this bit of tech, or implement your social media strategy or whatever it might be. But all the things I've just mentioned and listed out in this post is super important, and external companies don't provide this because this is all internal related. It's all in your business related conversations and activities that need to happen unrelated to the actual project that you're doing. So I just wanted to throw this out there. This is a hot topic. We're bringing on loads of new clients at the moment, and this is just a topic I always bring up in every meeting before I start the meeting to make sure you've got this in place before you kick off, and make sure everyone's aware of it. So I thought I'd just put it out there and get your input and your feedback on this particular topic, and what have you seen work well, what have you seen not work well, and just hit me up and give me your insights. Would love to hear your opinion as well. All right, guys, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Cheers.